Hank said he moved, right, during an interview with the K-Town Social Club. However, with the court, Ramsey said he hasn't moved. So there's a conflict. Has he moved or hasn't he moved? Was Hank lying or was Johnny lying? Right, whatever. Like, somebody's lying here.
South Korean court is finally stepping in, and this time they're not playing around. They've officially started enforcing strict regulations to deal with Johnny Somali, a move that's been long overdue. Because let's be real, if the court hadn't acted now, Johnny would have slipped right through the cracks like he always does. But now, things are changing fast, and the pressure is on. The entire country is watching closely to see whether this is the moment when justice finally catches up with him. What's making this even more intense is that Johnny Somali's trial hasn't even hit the courtroom yet. It's still far from its official date, but the buzz around it is already turning into a full-blown wildfire. Everyone wants to know, will he end up serving serious time in a South Korean jail, or will he somehow find another sneaky way to escape accountability again? And that's exactly where the real tension lies. The court's every move from here on out could decide not only Johnny's fate, but also how far South Korea is willing to go to set an example for foreigners who cross the line. To protest and march against immigration laws and stuff like that, it just gets to a point where it's like, guys, it's 2025, right? We kind of have to progress. We have to keep progressing as human beings. We can't keep staying stagnant and can't keep staying in the same old ways. I'm just gonna put it bluntly like this. Japan cannot survive without immigration. So how exactly is the court handling all this chaos? And more importantly, how should they handle it? Let's break down the entire situation, piece by piece. Because if you've been following the Johnny Somali drama from the start, what's happening right now is a turning point you don't want to miss. All right, let's dive right into it. Before getting into the main part of the story, there's a viral clip making rounds online that you need to see, and it's got people furious. In this post, someone says, Japan cannot survive without immigration? Is that so, Gino? Someone as stupid as you knows that for sure? Now pay close attention to what Johnny Somali's close friend, Gino, said in response.
So that was a big lie. So it just shows he's going to get on the stand and lie. And while he could get away with it in this trial, he will not get away with it in his own trial because he can be punished for that. And he can be, the judge can take that not kindly when it comes to sentencing.
This isn't just some random online drama. This clip reveals the shady methods that Johnny Somali's inner circle has been using to twist narratives and manipulate public opinion. It's not just trolling anymore. This looks like a calculated move. Think about it. Could this be another scheme cooked up by Johnny himself? Or maybe Hank is starting to fall under Gino's influence, because the way they're all moving right now feels way too coordinated.
He also was asked who owned the baton, because a big thing was involving this baton. It was an assault that allegedly happened with Youngman had the baton and allegedly hit him. But who owned the baton? Well, we all know it's Hank. We have the video to show it's Hank.
Did you hear what Gino said? Now imagine this. If tomorrow Gino releases another video, this time saying something like, Korea won't survive without immigration.
Youngman. Don't pause. That's a baton. Youngman picked my baton up. My baton up.
And then suddenly Johnny Somali and Hank Yu start echoing the same line across their platforms. What do you think that means? It's not coincidence. It's strategy. If these comments are coming directly from Johnny's circle, it's hard to believe they're not trying to sway public opinion and mess with the system before the trial even begins. And that's why the South Korean court needs to stay 2 steps ahead and take this situation seriously. Because what's happening online could easily influence what happens in court. Even several legal experts are already warning that if Johnny keeps playing these manipulation games, the judge might drop a much harsher verdict on him. And make no mistake, Johnny Somali and Hank Yu have already shown signs of trying to bend South Korean law, court procedures, and even prosecution efforts in their favor. You might remember how this all started, with lie after lie being thrown around in court. One of the biggest ones came straight from Johnny Somali and Hank Yu themselves. They claimed that a man named Jungman, the same person Johnny recently filed charges against, had attacked him. But here's the catch. That whole story was completely made up. It was nothing more than a manipulative stunt, a setup to twist the narrative in their favor. Hank Yu and Johnny Somali used that false claim as a sneaky way to build a conspiracy and pull off another shady legal move to get the charges dropped. But now, The tables are turning. The evidence that was once brushed aside is coming back to light, and the court is finally getting closer to exposing the truth. And let's be honest, if this new clip actually lands in front of the judge, there's no reason for any more leniency toward Johnny Somali. His entire defense could fall apart right there, because in this clip, you can clearly hear Hank Yu himself saying, in his own words, that Youngman took his baton from him. But when it came time to testify in court, Johnny completely flipped the story, claiming that Youngman was the one who brought the baton, or pretending he didn't know anything about it. Like, seriously, how much more obvious can the manipulation get? It's insane how Johnny and Hank keep trying to play the system like it's a game. And what's worse, they're still able to pull these tricks.
One of the things that he was asked was regarding to stalking, because Youngman was accused of stalking him. So if you are stalked, you need to know where you are stalked, because where are you staying, right? Where's your address? We pretended not to know. Well, how are you going to not know and say you're being stalked? He knows his address. He just doesn't want to say it because of the lie that happened during the court of his own trial. He said he's moved. He said Hank said he moved, right, during an interview with the K-Town Social Club. However, with the court, Ramsey said he hasn't moved. So there's a conflict. Has he moved or hasn't he moved? Was Hank lying or was Johnny lying? Right, whatever. Like, somebody's lying here, right? So we pretended not to know.
Because the South Korean authorities haven't fully cracked down yet. Johnny Somali is still living freely, still moving around with enough time and space to plot, plan, and execute these dirty tactics right under everyone's nose. At this point, you could even argue that the authorities know exactly what Johnny Somali is doing. They just keep turning a blind eye. It's like they're giving him the space to keep pulling the same reckless moves, and honestly, that's wild. Do you agree with that or not?
When I go to the judge and say, oh, I'm sorry, oh, I'm mentally ill, I don't know what's going on, I have a bipolar disorder, and what may I do? I left my medication in America, I don't know what's happening, Your Honor, please help me, I am a psychopath, I plead mentally insane. And they say, okay, go home.
Because if the South Korean judge and prosecution are really serious about setting an example, this is the time to act. No more leniency, no more endless delays. If they actually want to restore faith in their justice system, they need to make a statement, loud and clear. And believe me, people online are not holding back their frustration. The internet is packed with comments from locals and expats who are absolutely fed up with how this case is being handled. One user wrote, "Korea's legal system is a joke. They deserve Johnny." Another said, "Maybe it's a far-left judge. Crazy how they're allowing him to keep making the country look weak." And it doesn't stop there. People are angry because, as they put it, they're not showing strength, and that's exactly what's going to bring more little Johnnies to make South Korea look like a joke. Others pointed out that the real problem isn't just Johnny. It's the system that keeps letting him walk free. Comments like, if they're letting someone like him break the rules, that's on them. And a guy is locked up because of lies are everywhere. And one person even called out Hank directly, saying, Hank should be punished too. He knows the law. There's no excuse for him to say he didn't know or couldn't tell Johnny what was a crime. Meanwhile, there are a few voices defending the system, saying there's nothing special about how Johnny's being treated. There have been no delays in court dates. This is just how the Korean system works. They claim the only reason it's taking longer is because Johnny keeps pleading not guilty to several charges, even though those charges are backed by his own phone data and social media posts. But here's the thing, the longer this case drags on, the more people are losing patience. Public sympathy has dropped to zero. One user summed it up perfectly, saying, "Months ago I wouldn't have felt like this, but now it looks like Korea actually wants this clown and more people like him to mess up their country." And that's the reality right now. Johnny Somali hasn't really faced the full weight of justice yet. The country is restless. The public is doubting the system. And this trial has turned into a serious test for South Korea's credibility. Because if this continues, it won't just be about Johnny anymore. It'll be about whether the system itself is strong enough to stop people like him from mocking it in broad daylight. So here's the real question everyone's asking. Is South Korean law actually helping Johnny Somali? Or does the entire legal system itself need some serious fixing? Because from what we've been seeing, it's starting to look like the problem runs deeper than just one man's crimes. Now check this out. In a recent video from Legal Mindset, he breaks down exactly how Johnny Somali and Hank Yu lied straight to the court's face. And get this, they almost got caught in their own web of lies while being questioned by the judge. There wasn't any confusion, no misunderstanding. They were both clearly lying, point blank. And if you've been following this story closely, you already know this isn't new. I've been covering Johnny Somali's shady moves for months now, exposing every trick, every manipulation, and every calculated stunt he's pulled. But every time I tell the truth, there's always that group of people calling me out, saying I'm exaggerating or making it too dramatic. Well, look where we are now. Everything I warned about is happening in real time. And here's what's crazy. Johnny's supporters are growing bolder by the day. They're getting confident because they think the attention on this case is fading, but that's exactly when they make their biggest moves. The moment they think no one's watching, they pull off another shady tactic to twist the narrative in their favor. Now, listen to this. Johnny Somali has tried to justify himself multiple times, saying things like, "What I did wasn't criminal. I feel like what I did still isn't illegal. Obviously, it hurt people. But when I tell a joke or say something on my stream, it's just between me and my audience. I'm just trying to be a comedian, trying to entertain." Seriously? That's his defense? Trying to pass off harassment and disrespect as comedy? That's not entertainment, that's pure delusion. And like I said before, Johnny Somali committed those actions himself, then tried to shift the blame onto his audience. Make it make sense. How can any legal system punish his viewers for his crimes? If anything, this just proves that Johnny created the toxic environment he's now trying to hide behind. He built that audience, fed that mindset, and now wants to act like a victim of his own supporters? It's unbelievable. So if we walk into the next trial and see him once again trying to spin that same twisted logic, don't be surprised. Because at this point, nothing from Johnny Somali or Hank Yu's playbook should shock anyone anymore. From day one, they've done nothing but lie, manipulate, and twist every angle possible to protect themselves. And that's exactly why people are demanding real accountability this time. No more loopholes, no more excuses. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Johnny Somali will finally face real justice in South Korea? Or will he find another slick way to escape punishment again? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. Hit that like button if you've been following this whole saga. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next update, because this story is far from over.